All right, everybody, this will be a warning to all politicians. I'm running for president 2024. 111A. Some other things, major things that came up during the debates. Drugs and immigration and stuff. And minimum wage. Like in a previous video, I gave my ideas on the minimum wage. And I think Trump is right. You know, different areas, you can't have that extreme, $15 an hour, $20 an hour. Stuff like that. I laid out, I think our labor laws are antiquated. You don't have that much choice. Employers don't have that much choice. I think there should be certain things like anything over 8 in a day is overtime. Scheduling and stuff like that, where a lot of businesses will tell you, you're required to come in on your day off if they call or something like that. And it's really not fair. In some situations, you're more or less threatened with your job if you don't come in. Especially a lot of that in the restaurant business. But anyhow, as far as wages, in a lot of areas they're suppressed because you have a lot of illegal and even legal unskilled labor going on who will work for less. Like I tell my son all the time, beggars can't be choosers. I'm sure they would rather have higher paying jobs, but they take what they can get. And for all you people who say, well, it's jobs, Americans don't want to do, bullcrap. There's a lot of jobs in construction that have been taken by illegals and migrants coming to this country. Used to be good paying jobs, career jobs, even a lot of places union jobs. However, so that depresses stuff also, and I've said, and I'll keep saying, we wouldn't even need a wall if Mexico would get its shit together. Mexico does not care about its people, but all the anger and the focus is on America and our immigration policies and this and that. Like I say, you got to be analytical, and you got to look at the cause and effect and everything. Because people wouldn't believe in Mexico. Mexico doesn't have no minimum wage. And Mexico is not a poor country. A lot of billionaires in Mexico. A lot of Mexicans who come here will tell you, what's so-and-so, he's one of the richest men in the world. And, what's he done for you? What's he done for Mexico? Look at the cartels and stuff down there and everything. They get people to work for them because the Mexican government does not do a damn thing to make life better for its people. Their solution to poverty and everything is go to America. They don't have welfare. They don't have Social Security. They don't have all this stuff. They don't have minimum wage. They don't have all... Go to America. That's how much they care for their people, for their poor. Which all of a sudden, we're the bad guys. We need to take care of ourselves. Like Trump said, we need to take care of ourselves first. And I don't mean to go back. I know a lot of people are turned off by it, but going into religion again, all the religions also say about taking care of the poor. It doesn't say America is required to take care of all the poor in the world. Mexico is required. Mexico, the politicians of Mexico, and any country around the world, are going to be held responsible for how they treated and dealt with their poor. And I'm not saying give everybody welfare and stuff, because you go back to Jesus said, you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. You teach him to fish, you feed him for life. So educating people, teaching them a skill, giving them jobs, even if they don't, having, because not all jobs require, you to be a rocket scientist and have this high education. But teaching them how to function in life and to do jobs and to manage money, that's where you need to focus. That's where Mexico needs to focus. Instead of dumping their poor up here and then pointing the finger at us saying how we treat people. No, it's how you treat people, Mexico and other countries. Look at the billions of dollars. We've poured billions of dollars into Africa. Other countries have poured billions of dollars in Africa. And you look at Africa, it's got to be the most war-torn, bloodiest, impoverished places still. If you look at a lot of Africa, it's like, Europeans used to fight back in the Middle Ages and stuff. It was war-torn, constantly killing each other, even into the modern age. Europeans killed each other and stuff and everything. But for the most part, I think we've got a lot of that is behind us. But you look at Africa, they're still killing each other left and right in civil wars and stuff, and you have these famines and stuff. They haven't, caught up with the modern world with infrastructure and irrigation and canals and things like this, where and Africa's rich in oil and gas and diamonds and gold and all these other things. What do they do with the money? They buy weapons. Or the leaders of the countries squander all the money. So it's like I said, in a lot of these, it's 2020. We need to move forward. Let's get with the program here. We need leaders who will stand up and say, you know what? Forget all the same old bullshit and the rhetoric and everything. Here's the problem. Let's look at it. Let's tackle it. This is the way we fix it. Without people on the outside, well, wait a minute. If you fix it our way over here, we can skim some off the top, and let's look at the way that lines our pockets at the top and not really fix the problem. Because like I said, a lot of things in life aren't rocket science, and there's a lot of the old sayings, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. You look at the, a lot of the fables, and stuff, and, like the grasshopper and the ant, the ant stored away and prepared for winter all the time. The grasshopper did nothing but ran around and played all summer. And then when winter time came, he was freezing his ass off outside the ant's place begging for some food and shelter. It's just a lot of old-fashioned practical stuff that needs to be, still taught around the world. Say, look here, we're not going to go down this road anymore. We're not going to keep doing the same old crap over and over again. It's time to change. And that's the thing with socialism and all this. You're going to make people weak. You need to teach people to be self-reliant and resilient, and to take care of themselves. Because if you lull everybody into this, the government takes care of everything stuff, you're just heading for disaster. You're just going to have this anamorphic, what's the word? You're going to have like a zombie-like society. No one's going to strive for anything. Because when you do, they're just going to take it away from you and give it to other people. And same thing, now you're seeing, well, no one should go to jail for drugs, and Biden said, and all this and everything. And they're making more drugs, legal here and there. Guess what? You know what's next? they're going to start paying for these people's drugs. Because you know what? Because you can make every drug under the sun legal, and you're only going to increase crime. Do you know why? Because you're going to have more people get addicted. You're going to have more users. And guess what? Drugs cost money, whether they're legal or illegal. So you're going to have people using legal drugs, but they're going to be going out, breaking into people's homes, doing home invasions, muggings, robbing convenience stores, whatever they can to get money to go and buy their drugs legally. You're going to increase crime. You know, there are even people, you know, will steal to support their alcohol and cigarette habits, which are pretty bad and pretty addictive for, you know, and I know a lot goes by the individual on how addicted people can be. But when you start talking about things like heroin and cocaine and these other drugs, they are way more addictive, and that culture of doing them is way different than you know, somebody going to have a beer, stuff like that, who can afford that beer. Drugs are way more expensive, so you're gonna have more crime. You know, people don't think things through. We'll just make drugs legal and then we won't be locking all these people up. Well, you won't be locking them up for drugs. You'll be locking them up for stealing. Maybe killing people. I'm so tired of politicians who don't think. So tired of these people who get on TV and flap their gums and who don't think. In a lot of cases, they don't care about thinking, you know what? Because they're getting paid to say whatever they're spewing out of their mouths. You know, which is really sad because, you know, they want to come across like they're these caring people and this and that. Really? You're not thinking about the future of your kids or your neighbor's kids, are you? What, you want me to go on and promote legal marijuana? Okay, I'll go on and how much you pay me? Go promote legal marijuana. You're not showing a whole lot of love for the future generations of kids growing up in this country. They're going to turn their brains to mush. Maybe end up going out and stealing so they can buy some weed. But you'll get on CNN or some other TV, you know, thing and push for legal marijuana because you're invested in the growing farms stuff. So it's another part, like I said, the spiritual part is, you know, people so blinded about, hey, I'm going to make some money. They don't think of the ramifications. They're making their money by promoting something that's going to ruin other people's lives. Guess what? You're going to be held accountable. You might might not be held accountable for it in this life, but you will in the next. But you're so focused on this life, you haven't given a thought to the next life. So you'll go out and promote anything you can. It's like all the war hawks, all so eager and ready to go to war. Their sons and daughters ain't going. Their sons and daughters ain't going. They're going to send your sons and daughters to kill somebody else's sons and daughters. So somebody along the line, whether it's just the weapons makers or they can take over resources, somebody's going to make some money. And they'll instill hatred in you, these other people. And I'm not saying just America, you know, there's leaders around the world in other countries instilling hatred in their people against America so that they will have people ready to fight for them. Maybe to take something from us. So I know it's a dangerous world and we need a military, etc. And, you know, but our soldiers and everybody in the military needs to know from our politicians, they're not going to be used for bullshit. They're actually going to be used to defend the country or to fight a tyrant like Hitler or something, that they're going to be used for good. If you're going to ask people to put their lives on the line, their lives and limbs on the line, then they need to have faith in the leader of this country that, you know, he or she is not going to cave in and just send them willy-nilly into conflict for some bullshit. You know, and all these nations, they'll use, hey, it even goes on, like I said, in Africa. Even though it's primarily all Africans, there are racist wars that go on in Africa between tribes. If you can wrap your head around that, you know, but they'll use race, religion, you know, and then politics, whether you're socialist or, you know, democratic or capitalist, and you know, ideologies. We're all human beings. We might look different and everything, but we're all human beings created by one God, and these powers that be around the world will use us all to kill each other, even though we're all the same. They'll give us reasons for us to kill each other. Look at ISIS and all these groups in the Middle East who used Islam to teach people to just go and kill willy-nilly. That's not what the Prophet Muhammad taught. And then you have people in this country who will say, oh yeah, look at what Islam teaches and this and that, even though you tell them until you're blue in the face, that is not what the Prophet taught. You cannot blame the Prophet for what people have done and perverted in the religion of Islam any more than you can blame Jesus for what people have done within the religion of Christianity and have done wrong. You know, if you took the time to read that Quran, you'd see where God explains how he has sent messengers from the beginning, and eventually the truth of the message gets decayed, corrupt people take over and use it for wealth and power and everything under the sun that it was not intended for. So if you're a human being, well, I'll address, you know, youth in this country, you know, open your mind to the fact that there are other people with other religions and stuff who might look different, might dress different than you, might say their prayers different, but it's all from the same God. You understand? Different factions have done wrong within religions and misused religion, no matter how you slice it, whether it's Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, whatever it is. You go through world history, you can see it. That's when, you know, you'll have people who are atheists say, see, religion's the cause of all. No, religion is not the cause of all wars. It's the cause of a lot of wars, but it's not the cause of all wars. Greed, you know, this idea of being great conquerors and etc. like this had nothing to do with religion. Napoleon had nothing to do with religion. Alexander the Great had nothing to do with religion. Attila had nothing to do with religion. Hitler had nothing to do with religion. It could go on and on and on and on and on and on. You know, World War I had nothing to do with religion. But it is one of the things that people in power will use to blind people's minds to where they go willy-nilly off to war. Not saying there's times that war is not justified for self-defense or to bring justice, to bring peace. As a peacekeeping force, etc., to go in and stop violence somewhere. I'm not saying, I'm not a total peacenik pacifist, whatever. I know, like I said, we're spiritual beings, but we're living in this physical world. And like it says in the Quran, God raises certain powers to suppress other powers, or else the whole world would be corrupt. So, if there weren't certain powers who were raised up to fight Hitler, you can see the point I'm trying to make with that. So anyway, I wanted to go over that drugs and immigration and stuff like that. You wouldn't need a wall. You wouldn't have all this crap going on. One of the things in the debates, they kept saying, there's all these kids who are separated from their parents and they can't find their parents. Look here. I don't know how many people let that go right over their head and didn't say, well, wait a second. Now, I'm a parent. I know if my son was separated from me at the border or something like that, I would be going to the Border Patrol. I'd be like, hey, here I am. Where's my kid? It's not rocket science. So them saying, there's 500 some odd kids or whatever, and they can't find their parents. I'm sorry. The kids are in one spot. The Border Patrol has the kids. So if you're a parent who's missing your kid in the United States or in Mexico, just contact the Border Patrol and you got your kid back. They're not hiding them. They're not moving them around like a shell game. So I don't know why nobody, during the debate or in the news media or anything, said, wait a minute. Where's the parents? What the hell's wrong with these parents that they're not going to get their kids? So you got to think, maybe Trump is right. Maybe most of them were brought in by coyotes and cartels. Maybe they were smuggling them, these kids for, in human trafficking, to these perverts or something. Whatever. Because any parent, okay, hey, law enforcement, hey, Border Patrol, you separated us, where's my kid? I'm sure they're going to, give you your kid back, whatever. So just the whole, I know the sad thing is here in America, I know there's people that didn't even click with anybody or no one's even thinking about that. All they're going, yeah, they took them people's kids, they can't find their parents. Well, hey, dumbass. All the parents got to do is go to Border Patrol or immigration, whoever, where's my kid? They can reunite them. It's not rocket science. But there's some people won't even think of that, and they'll just be, how awful Trump and the United States is. How awful. And parents can't find their kids. Sorry if they lost them in Walmart. I'm sure they would go to the, security or whatever. Hey, page my kid. Or the kid would go, hey, page my mom. Can't find my mom in the store. I remember doing that when I was little. I get separated from my mom in the store. I go to the courtesy desk. Hey, can you page my mom and tell her I'm here? Because she'd be walking in circles looking for me. I'd be walking in circles looking for her. We'd, be on the opposite side of the store. Then I go to the side she was at. She go to the side I was at. just, so just going to the courtesy desk. Can you page my mom? It wasn't rocket science. I'm not walking around the store all day looking for my mom. I'm just going to go to the courtesy desk. Or she would go. And they'd page me. So, anyhow, just wanted to touch on those things there. We need politicians who think are just going to solve problems, not play politics with them. It's even like COVID, all this stuff. The basic thing is, yeah, it's dangerous. Yeah, there was, a lot of deaths, but a lot of them deaths, you got to look at Cuomo up there in New York, what he did, forcing them people back into the nursing homes and stuff. And you got to look at a lot of the practices. I mean, I'm sure they're not going to go into it, but there's a lot of doctors who say putting people on ventilators was the worst thing to do, that may have caused a lot of deaths. And you got to look at the fear factor. The Democrats were all about make everybody extremely afraid during that. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who had anxiety attacks, who had heart attacks, what have you, went into shock, and died out of the fear that they had it, that there was certain death for them. So they went into shock. Just because of what they saw on the news day in and day out and was in their heads. It's a virus, like the common cold is a virus, and I think they say, what is it, corona or the COVID, whatever the technical name is, that the common cold is from that family. So eventually, we're all going to get it. I'm pretty sure. Just like a cold. Well, I'm telling you, don't freak out and think you're going to die automatically if you do. This whole thing, Trump knew it was way more deadly and didn't say nothing. I don't remember anybody from the very beginning saying, this stuff couldn't kill you. Yeah, he might have been trying to ease. He didn't want people to panic, which is a good thing. But I never saw him say, don't take it serious. And there's plenty of other people on TV who were saying, yeah, you need to wash your hands and face and cover your face, etc. I remember all that right from the get-go. So, it's like, if you can't think for yourself, you see on the news, there's this virus, this pandemic, and some people have died, and they're shutting, they're closing the border and stuff. If you can't think for yourself, hey, I need to take some precautions. If you're waiting for the president or somebody else to tell you need to take precautions, then you're an idiot, quite frankly. And that Fauci is flip-flop back and forth on masks. If you ask me, the masks are a placebo. They might help to a certain extent, but like I said, they've never come out and said, if you touch something that has it on it, what about using a public restroom? Suppose somebody sneezes when they go in there, or coughs or something, they've got it and those germs get on a toilet seat, you sit on the toilet seat or whatever. Can you get it? Can it be absorbed in your skin? How can you get it? What about the Yahoo making your burger at Burger King or McDonald's or something like that? Got it on his hands or something like that. He touches your food. Can you get it that way? There's a lot of stuff that they haven't told us. There's a lot of data. There's a lot of reported deaths from it that, it wasn't the reason of death. May not even have been a contributing reason to death. But because the person had the virus and, it's a COVID death. So there's an awful lot of politics being played with this, and it shouldn't be being played with this. It's just ridiculous. And for them to tell you it's all Trump's fault is a bunch of horse shit. 200,000 deaths when they were talking about a couple million, or even 3 or 4 million to begin with. Biden wants to string Trump up. He's responsible to every world leader around the world. There's deaths in every country. You going to string them all up too, Mr. Biden? When no one's really had to deal with something like this. So, nobody's perfect. Not even Trump. So, but to say, he didn't give a damn or whatever, I think it's ridiculous. So, anyhow, hopefully they come out with a safe vaccine and start vaccinating people, and it'll be less of a thing. Maybe we all just develop immunity on our own. I don't know. So, anyhow, I wish you all the best out there. God bless. We'll see you on the next one. Adios.